Hello. Well, this is Edith Newmeyer, and sorry about my hair. I just went for a short hike, and my hair's all messed up. I had a bandana on. Maybe I should have just left my bandana on. And some people like my bandana. But anyways, I want to continue talking about the Jewish history. I did like a brief history of the Jews to understand the present situation, and I want to continue. Now, so many times I talk about Matthew 24, okay, and the destruction of the temple, which so many misinterpret as, oh, that is the great tribulation that will happen after the rapture during a 7-year tribulation time. No, 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 and no again. If you compare that section, Matthew 24, with Luke 21 and Mark 13, you should know, and I know I have always people that are still stuck in believing that that period of time, what really Jesus talked about, the destruction of the temple, will happen at the end. No, the end or the day of the Lord will not start in Matthew 24 until verse 28 or 29. That's when the end starts. Remember, I did a timeline, okay? And on my little timeline, let's find that. So on that timeline, I put on, let's see, where was it? Here's the rapture, right? Okay? This is where Jesus died, and here's the rapture. Okay? This is where the tribulation is over. This is where the day of the Lord starts. Somebody was actually doing that for me, a graph. I just still need to get a real copy of it. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to have to talk to the guy. So anyways, so right here is 70 AD, okay? 70 AD. That is the destruction of the temple. This is the time that Jesus explained to them, okay? These signs that will happen before the temple is destroyed has nothing to do with the end. 2,000 years later, okay, is when the rapture happens. 2,000 years later is when the wrath of God is going to start. Okay? This right here is Matthew, and I should put that in there. We can actually put that in there. Okay, somewhere. Matthew, maybe up here. Matthew 24:29 or Luke 21:24. This is when the sun goes dark. Okay? Right here. And the moon loses its shine. This is what this is. This is when the day of the Lord starts. Okay, so I wanted to bring this in, again, because so you see this visually how it is. So we are having 2,000 years of great tribulation for all saints. People, all saints go through great tribulation, some more than others. Okay, I consider tribulation when you are attacked from every side, whether it's through sickness, your kids get attacked because you're suffering when you're, at work, because people are rejecting you, they know you're a Christian or whatever, okay? Satan attacking you. You can battle all kinds, financially, deception. Now, deception is a very important part of tribulation. But of course, I do not just want to talk about that today. What I want to talk about, something that parallels what's going on today with the Jews and in Israel. I want to talk about this destruction of the temple and how it got to that destruction of the temple. Why was the temple and Jerusalem be destroyed? Now people think, oh, well, because the Romans, destroyed it. No, that wasn't the real reason. No. The real reason was because the Jews rebelled against the Romans. Now, Josephus wrote books about the Jewish wars. These Jewish wars happened since the time the Jews came back from the Babylonian captivity. God sent them away. I already made a video about it. God sent them away into captivity, gave them a divorce certificate, and sent them away. And they came back. God allowed them to come back through Daniel and Jeremiah. It was told that the Jews have another 490 years, or the 70 years of Daniel, to come back. Why? To bring forth Messiah. To fulfill the prophecy, or fulfill the promise God gave to Abraham. Now, the promise to Abraham was not that the Jews will own the land. The promise to Abraham was that the lineage of Abraham would bring forth Messiah, and Messiah would save the people. Because, see, all the sacrifices and the whole sacrificial system of Moses was only a shadow. Please read Hebrews. Shadow of the things to come. The Jews knew when they went into captivity that the old covenant was over. They had, at that point, no more ways to sacrifice. So what they did, they came up with their own religious system. When they came back and they rebuilt, the temple, well, they still continued with their own religious system, and especially with their hierarchy, and anyways, with their Pharisee hierarchy and the scribes and whatever. And the scribes interpreted Torah. And so then when Jesus came, and not only that, but they also continued to rebel against the Romans. You can read that in the book, The Wars of the Jews by Josephus. All the wars, okay? They thought, well, we're going to have to get this land back because God gave us this land again. No, he told them they can go back, rebuild, and bring forth Messiah. And that's about it, okay? And if you guys are not accepting Messiah by that time, the end is here. You only have, actually, God foresaw that they wouldn't accept him. And so he already prophesied, or Daniel already prophesied, and God told Daniel, they only have 70 years. They only have 490 years, and it's going to be up. And their time will be up. Okay? Because that's how long it takes to bring forth Messiah. 490 years. And Messiah came and he fulfilled everything. Please read Daniel 9. I talk about that all the time. But no, the Jews did not want a Messiah that would save them. The Jews wanted to have a Messiah that would free them from the Romans. Okay? So when Jesus came, they were already fighting a guerrilla or an underground war against the Romans. We know about the Zealots, right? The Zealots. There was one of the disciples that was a Zealot. And Jesus, what did he clearly tell him? Did he say, great, continue to fight your fight? No. He told him, put down your sword. That's not what I came for. I didn't come to free you guys from the Romans so you can have your country or your land back. You lost your land. They lost their land because they whored around, and God gave them a divorce decree and sent them away. No, they can now come back just in order to bring forth Messiah. That's the only reason. And of course, they can also accept Messiah and be saved, but they didn't do it. As a nation, they didn't do it. Only a remnant did it. They continued to uphold the system, and they continued, the worst part is they continued to war against the Romans. If you know this new TV series, actually it's not new, it's been going on 4 years, called The Chosen. I think The Chosen the writer of The Chosen brought that in very good. You know, how this zealot, and who was it? Simon the zealot? I don't remember who the zealot was of the disciples, you know, and how he was trained as a zealot, and they thought that was important, you know, the Jews. And Jesus says, no, this is not why I came. But see, the Jews continue to believe their Messiah is going to be that kind of a Messiah who will free them from the Romans. He will be a military leader. He will be a political leader that will free them from the oppressors. But this is why they were deceived, because that's the image they had of Messiah. Messiah is coming. He's establishing a kingdom for the Jews. And that is not the case. Jesus said, no, that's not why I'm coming. Now, they continued to do that. Even after they killed Jesus because they didn't see really Jesus as Messiah, they continued the same thing. Many more Messiahs came, and who were actually these political leaders. And they were leading the Jews deeper and deeper into this war with the Romans until finally 70 AD. They were so desperate. I mean, they were, I think, surrounded, right? Jerusalem was surrounded. And they were starved. They were so badly starved. You know, it was they were so starved that even a woman ate her own child. I've said that before. And the last attempt was, oh, let's all get on top, you know, of the Temple Mount. We will be saved. You know, their leader said that. You can read that in the Wars of the Jews. Okay? And it's book 5. I'm going to tell you that. That's where this stuff is written. Josephus wrote it down. He was the eyewitness of it, and he wrote it down. He was actually at first fighting the Romans and then actually switched sides and went on the side of the Roman, not, I wouldn't say on the Romans, but he realized that this fight was crazy, and so he was trying to mediate between the Romans and the Jews. Of course, he had no success. So what happened then in 70 AD, and Jesus told them, okay, he told them that this temple will be destroyed, Jerusalem will be destroyed, and please, when you see these things happening, these signs, get out of Jerusalem, get out of Judah, okay, because Judah they ended up losing Judah completely. They were killed. I mean, bloodbath in Jerusalem when the Romans finally captured Jerusalem. Bloodbath, okay? Bloodbath, people. It was terrible. And that's what happens when you have wars. Titus, who was the general at the time and later became, of course, the emperor, he couldn't even hold his soldiers back, okay? They went in there and they just created the bloodbath because Titus couldn't even hold them back. At least that's what Josephus said. And people, that reminds me so much of what's happening today. People are saying, oh, let's pray for the peace of Jerusalem. It's like the Christians then, did Jesus say, pray for for the peace of Jerusalem? Or did he say, this is going to happen? This is going to happen, and God is not going to intervene to protect his people. No, it was God on the side of the zealots? No, he wasn't. Why not? Because the Messiah that he sent was not a Messiah that brought war, or a Messiah that at that time would destroy the enemies of the Jews. He will destroy his enemies eventually, but not the enemies of the Jews. And we still have the same thing going on right now in Israel. Israel came back. Well, not Israel. It was the Jews that came back. Israel is, the 10 tribes are still gone. The only people that came back is Judah. Okay? That's just the way. The Jews came back. And why did they come back? They came back because they made a deal with England, whoever the elites were, that helped them get the piece of land. You understand that? The piece of land belonged to England. And the Palestinians used to live there for 2,000 years. 2,000 years. And so they thought, the English thought, well, or better, the elite, the money people, right? Well, we'll put the Jews in there. They'll maybe support our interest. And, this is exactly the way it ended up. They didn't care. The English didn't care what the Israel, the Jews will do to the Palestinians. They still don't care. As long as their interest is presented there in that country, they're happy. Okay? They were happy. So what did they do? They brought all the rich and smart people over there. Okay? Did you understand that? Okay? Do you understand? And all the money, they supported that country with money. Why? Because they did what they wanted them to do. They were right there presenting the interest of the elite. And who is the elite? England, okay? The beast system. They presented the interest of the beast system. Okay? But really, do they have their own country? Or are the politicians in debt to the elite? And are they doing what the elite want them to do? All these wars that they're fighting, all this terrorism that Israel has been organizing over the years since the founding of Israel, is all because in gratitude for getting the land. Okay? That's all it is. And the Jews think, oh, that's our land. God gave it to us. No, God did not give it to them. God sent them away long time ago. God sent them away when he gave them a divorce decree during the Babylonian captivity. That's when they lost the land. And they didn't get it back when they came back into the promised land. They didn't get it back. They were just there tolerated, first by the Persian, then by the Greek, then by the Romans. They were tolerated. And then they started this war. I mean, how stupid, okay? Starting a war with the biggest army, right? Rome, the empire, Rome, starting a war with Rome and think that they're going to win? Really? How does that sound like? Sounds like the Palestinians right now. Really think about what Hamas did. Okay? What Hamas has been doing the whole time. Oh, they think they're going to win. Are they going to win? They're going against not only Israel, they're going against all of NATO. And they have been going against all of NATO. Well, I mean, eventually, I think the rest of the world will wake up. The kings of the East will come and just total Israel. They will total it. And people, it's not, oh, God is going to intervene. That's what many people believe. Because they believe that this Gog and Magog war is before Jesus returns. No. You need to look at Ezekiel 14, what is going to be happening before Jesus returns, or the Armageddon War. Jesus will not protect Israel. He will protect his own people. But at that time, the bride is already gone. That will include all the Jews that have accepted Messiah. Okay? All the Jews that are right now in this world, especially in Israel, that have accepted Messiah, they will be in the rapture. They will be gone when the wrath of God starts. But the rest of them, which is most of Israel, which is actually the nation of Israel, okay, they will still be there. And God will not protect them just the same way that he didn't protect them in 70 AD. Okay? You know what happened in Masada? I think that was 120. Could have been 120. I don't remember exactly, but it could have been, Masada may have been, the last battle in Masada may have been 120. It's kind of long, 50 years. Did they battle 50 years still? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Oh, that wasn't even. It was 72 to 73. I thought 120. No, it was not. So yeah, in 72 and 73, I thought maybe that was a little bit too long. No, then that was the last stronghold in Judah. Okay, the last stronghold, and they lost it, and that was the end of the Jews. They were gone after that. Okay, they were either in captivity, they were either killed. Can you imagine how many people they killed because of these wars? There was very few people left. There were maybe the poor people, the farmers, the poor people were left. And they were then, of course, farming the land or had whatever they had. Most people were killed. Okay? Most people were killed. So the people that were left, they were actually the people that were still there when the Byzantine Empire started, when the Ottoman Empire started, okay? And then the First World War is when the Ottoman fell. The Ottoman Empire, which was you could say greater Turkey. The Ottoman Empire was all around the Mediterranean, all the way at one point into Spain. Okay? So it came out of the Byzantine Empire from Constantinople, where Turkey is, through the all around the Mediterranean, all the way into, like I said, Spain. That was the Byzantine Empire or the Ottoman Empire, and it fell apart during the First World War. Okay? And then it fell into the hands of of England and of France. They divided that area up. Okay? And so that's why before that it was in the hands of the Ottoman Empire, Turkey, and the Muslims. And those people that lived there, they all became kind of Muslims. They had probably no choice. Well, they did, I'm sure, but they all became Muslim. Okay, so this is where the people that were still left, okay, after the bloodbath, okay, and people being taken into captivity. Some people freely went into exile. A lot of Jews, and this is how we then had a lot of these small little Jewish groups throughout Europe, kind of still in existence. They're all small little groups, and they were persecuted no matter where they went. Okay, there was constant persecution for them, and they constantly had to move around. Germany was actually one of the countries where they probably stayed the longest. Also, the Tsar was protecting the Jews as well at one point, until they actually did go against the Tsar, the Jews. So, but that's another story. I'm going back now to this time when the Jews, on their own fault, went against the Romans and were defeated. They should have known that, okay, that they will be defeated. But no, they wanted to have their own country, okay, back. They thought that was the country. But people, no, it's not their country anymore. God took it from them, and God is making them very clear, no, that is not your promised land. And people are screaming, but it says in the Old Testament that the Jews will come back. The Jews will only come back when they accept Messiah, and only during the time of Messiah. Okay? Now, many Orthodox Jews believe exactly that. They do not believe in the state of Israel. Orthodox Jewish people, okay, themselves believe that the state of Israel is not from God. And they say the Jews should wait until Messiah, because only Messiah can bring them back. Many Orthodox Jews know exactly that they lost this land because of what they have done. Okay? Many Jews know that. Probably only the watered down Jews or the secular Jews, they don't know that. But the Orthodox and really Bible believing, Old Testament believing Jews, they know it. Okay? Many of them know it. And of course, today, what are they doing today, the Jews? They're still celebrating this fake Messiah. They're still looking for a Messiah who is going to rid them from their enemies. A political leader, strong political leader. And that is all wrong. Why? Because they don't have a land anymore from God. They have now a secular land. Okay, fine. But I'm not supporting this secular land. I don't even support really America, the politics of America. I support American people. I support, America as the people. But not our government. Our government is so corrupt. How can anybody support what our government has done for the past 4 years? Just start from there. Then go back and look at all the lies they have told us. Our government has been in a war every year since the Second World War. One war after another. How can you support something like that? We used to have the Democratic Party that was not so war hungry, but that has changed. So how can we support a government like that? And the same thing is with Israel. All they want is what? Why? Because Israel is not free to make their own decision. They have to go by the elite. They have to go by the beast out of the earth. Okay? Why? Because that's where they get their power from. That's where they got their country from. That's where they get their resources from. They wouldn't be anything. They would be diddly squat if they would have not gotten the resources, the money to build their infrastructure and their, their technology. Israel is leading in the technology, in the computer technology and cyberspace and all that. Okay, where do they get the money from? They got it from America. They got it from Europe. They got it specifically from Germany because they paid them bunches of money to build that country. And they used the Jews because the Jews said, yeah, we will do it. And of course, they had to pay a high price. Now, do the ordinary people know? The ordinary people do not know about this. Okay? The ordinary people, the ordinary Jews are being deceived. They're just swimming along, and they're believing also the lies that the government is telling them. Okay. Oh, yeah, we are the chosen people. We need to have privileges. Oh, we have a right to be in this country. Oh, we have a right. Where are they getting the right? Oh, we're getting it from God. Why? Because people made up lies, one lie after another. One of them is dispensationalism, Zionism. It's a lie. It's a lie. Why would God bring them back now when he told them you're leaving because you rejected Messiah? Because he kicked them out in 70 AD because they rejected Messiah. Well, actually, he didn't kick them out because they rejected Messiah. He kicked them out simply because they lost their right to be in the land because he divorced them. That's why. But that happened 490 years prior to that, actually 500 years prior to the destruction of the temple. But the time was just up for this 490 years to be fulfilled of Daniel until the new covenant came. And the Messiah came. Their Messiah, their Savior. And they rejected him. Now you think now God says, oh, sure, you are my children. I will accept you again. I will just close my eyes and totally forget all the things you have done. No, they have to accept Messiah. Messiah has to, they have to be redeemed by Messiah. They have to accept that he died on the cross, that they are sinful. Okay, and they're not doing it. Why? Because they have their own religious system that they think will save them. Because they created it. They created it already when they went into Babylonian captivity. And they rejected the new covenant when Jesus came and said, this is the way it's supposed to go. Read what's in the Gospels. How did they treat Jesus? How did the Pharisees treat Jesus? Read Acts. How they treated him. They rejected him. That has not changed. It has not changed, people. It's not changed. But I'm coming to an end. I just wanted to add this for you to kind of understand what has been going on. Why have the Jews been scattered all over the world? Okay? And of course, the Israelites, Israel, which is the kingdom of Israel, was already gone. Okay? They were gone. They never came back. They were already scattered all over the place. And, after Rome destroyed, Judah, they kind of mixed with the other, people around them, and most of them down there in the Promised Land became Muslim. They didn't keep their identity, their Jewish identity. Maybe some of them, but most of them lost it. They lost it. So some of them maybe even became Christians. But after 2,000 years, it's a horrible mess. Even the Jews, the little Jewish groups that went into Europe and kind of survived there, they mingled with Europe. Okay? They never kept clean. They always mingled. Oh yeah, we're Jews religiously, but really, it's kind of hard for them to trace themselves back to what? Judah? Okay, Judah? After how many thousands of years? How many people have Jewish, maybe, genes? Whole bunch. And again, what is a Jewish gene? I don't know. Anyways, I'm coming to an end. I just wanted to make this video. I want you to understand what is going on, and to maybe be able to step back and say, this is none of my business, really. They need to work that out. And also understanding that, no, this is not from God, and this is not prophecy. It's not prophecy. Yes, they will stir up the anger of God even more if they continue like this. They definitely will, but it's just going to get worse. Their punishment will get even worse. The anger of God will get worse. And then people are going to scream, oh, how horrible. Oh, how horrible. But then again, the anger of God is going to unleash on a lot of people because they're ungodly, because they don't follow God's plan. It's just the way it is. God has to destroy his enemies. And that's what we're going towards. We're going towards the wrath of God. And all this is preparation for the wrath of God. Eventually, God has just enough. Okay, all these human beings ever can do is war, war, and war. Evilness. Slaughtering your own kind. Okay, I'm sorry you can't say, oh, they're Palestinians. They're not humans. You can't do that. But see, the Jews think they're better. And they do. But they're not. They're human beings. They're fallen people just like everybody else. No, they're not any better. But see, if we have these Christian Zionists telling them, oh, you are better, you're God's people. Even though they're screaming in God's face, no, we're not going to follow you guys, follow you, God. But hey, I need to come to an end here. Please let me know what you think. And I know there's some people that don't agree with me, and that's okay. I just want to tell you, what the Word of God says. And no, this is not my history. This is not what I have, decided. It's not mine. I'm just seeing simply the facts. These are the facts, people. Coming to an end. Let the Holy Spirit guide you always.